Welcome, beautiful damsels. The most powerful move you can make is to stop playing their game. There comes a moment when a Sigma female, the independent, self-reliant force of nature, decides she's done. Not angry, not bitter, just done. And when that happens, the shift is so quiet, so seamless, that by the time people realize it, they're left wondering why the world suddenly feels colder. Here's a fact. Psychologists say emotional detachment is one of the most unsettling responses a person can experience from someone they once relied on. Why? Because silence is more unnerving than anger. A fight at least means there's still something left to salvage. But when a Sigma female withdraws, it's not a negotiation, it's an exit. Now, don't mistake this for a dramatic meltdown or a revenge arc. No, when she's done playing nice, there's no fiery explosion, just a quiet, calculated shutdown. Like a CEO restructuring a company, she reassigns her energy, reallocates her time, and fires liabilities without a second thought. And the best part? She does it with a level of indifference so profound that even karma takes notes. Number 1, she elevates herself beyond reach. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she doesn't just walk away. She rises so high that those who once had access to her feel microscopic in comparison. It's not about revenge or proving a point, it's about evolution. She channels every ounce of disappointment, betrayal, and wasted effort into leveling up in a way that makes her untouchable. People who once took her for granted start to notice the absence, but by then, she's already in a different league. Her energy, once freely given, is now a rare currency. Conversations that used to be effortless now feel impossible because she no longer speaks the same language as those she left behind. She has refined her circle, elevated her goals, and raised her standards so high that the people who once had easy access now find themselves standing outside a door that no longer opens. It's not just physical distance, it's a shift in mindset. She stops entertaining mediocrity, stops justifying herself, and stops making room for those who drained her. The same people who underestimated her are suddenly forced to watch her rise from a distance, realizing too late that they never truly understood what she was capable of. And the worst part? There's no getting back in. She doesn't announce this transformation, there's no need. Her absence speaks louder than words, and her success is the only response necessary. Those who thought they could keep her small now see that she was never meant to stay in the same place. She outgrew them, not out of spite, but because she refused to stay where she wasn't valued. By the time they look up, she's already miles ahead, unreachable and completely indifferent to whether they ever catch up. Number 2, she unleashes a work ethic that destroys competition. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she stops wasting time on anything that doesn't serve her growth. The distractions, the pointless conversations, the fake support systems, she cuts them all off like dead weight. What's left is a level of focus so intense that it becomes almost intimidating. She doesn't compete with others, she outpaces them without even trying. She channels every ounce of disappointment, betrayal, and wasted energy into her goals. While others are caught up in meaningless drama, seeking validation or playing politics, she is building, silently, relentlessly. Her work ethic is no longer fueled by proving people wrong. It's driven by a deep, almost ruthless commitment to becoming the best version of herself. The result? She doesn't just succeed, she dominates. People who once overlooked her start to wonder how she got so far ahead, but the truth is simple. While they were busy seeking attention, she was putting in the work. She doesn't announce her moves. There are no warnings, no watch me speeches, just results. By the time they realize what's happening, she has already built something they can't touch. She becomes the kind of person who makes competition irrelevant. While others chase trends, she sets the standard. While they seek shortcuts, she refines her skills. She doesn't slow down for anyone. And she definitely doesn't wait to be acknowledged. And the best part, she doesn't need applause. The results speak for themselves. Number 3, she becomes a master of saying no without guilt. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, her yes becomes rare, and her no becomes absolute. She no longer bends to accommodate people who drained her energy, manipulated her kindness, or took her willingness to help for granted. The days of stretching herself thin to keep others comfortable are over. Now she says no with a clarity that leaves no room for negotiation, and more importantly, she does it without guilt. She doesn't owe anyone an explanation. If something doesn't align with her goals, values, or peace of mind, it's a hard pass. There's no hesitation, no over-explaining, and certainly no lingering guilt over declining invitations, favors, or obligations that serve everyone but her. She's done being the person people rely on while giving nothing in return. What's most unsettling for those around her isn't just the refusal itself, it's the ease with which she does it. She doesn't soften the blow or wrap it in unnecessary excuses. If she doesn't want to do something, she simply won't. No elaborate justifications, no sugarcoating, just a firm boundary that no longer bends to make others feel better. And here's the kicker. The people who used to take advantage of her generosity suddenly don't know how to handle this version of her. They're left shocked, offended, or scrambling to figure out how to regain control. But it's too late. She has finally prioritized herself, and once she masters saying no without guilt, she never goes back. Number 4. She switches to ruthless efficiency. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she shifts from kindness to ruthless efficiency. Her compassionate, patient side was once a choice, but now she operates on logic and results with laser focus. She no longer has the time or energy for unnecessary pleasantries, meaningless pleasantries, or things that slow her down. If something isn't adding value, it's discarded. If a person isn't contributing to her growth, they're cut out. She doesn't entertain drama, excuses, or distractions. She deals in action, progress, and tangible outcomes. Gone are the days of accommodating everyone else's needs at the expense of her own. Her kindness, once freely given, is now a rare gift, reserved only for those who earn it. She moves through her goals with brutal precision, eliminating anything that doesn't contribute to her success. Whether it's relationships, projects, or tasks, if it isn't efficient, it doesn't get a second chance. This shift isn't driven by anger or frustration, it's driven by a commitment to her own growth and a deep understanding of the value of time. Every minute spent on anything unproductive is a minute wasted. Her focus becomes unshakable and her efficiency becomes a force to be reckoned with. She is no longer swayed by emotions or external opinions. She is purely result-driven, and anything that stands in the way of that vision is swiftly removed. For those around her, it can feel like a cold shift, but it's actually a reflection of the growth she's undergone. She no longer has the patience to coddle, explain, or play games. What's left is a woman who is singular in her mission and unstoppable in her pursuit of success. Number 5, she treats fake people like background noise. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, fake people lose all significance in her world. Before, she might have humored them, engaged in polite conversation, or even given them the benefit of the doubt. But once she sees them for what they truly are, users, manipulators, energy leeches, she mentally tunes them out. They become nothing more than background static, existing in the same space but holding no real presence in her life. She no longer reacts to their drama, their gossip, or their desperate attempts to stay relevant. They could talk, scheme, or try to provoke her, and it wouldn't matter. She simply doesn't register them anymore. It's not anger, it's not revenge, it's pure indifference. And indifference is more powerful than hate. Hate means they still have an effect. Indifference means they've been reduced to nothing. They start to notice the shift. The emotional access they once had is gone. Their attempts to bait her into old patterns fall flat. The compliments, the fake concern, the subtle manipulations, none of it works anymore. They no longer exist in a way that matters to her. And that's what unsettles them the most. She doesn't need to expose them, call them out, or engage in petty battles. She just moves on, unaffected, as if they were never there. And nothing frustrates fake people more than realizing they've lost their power over someone who once cared. Number 6. She stops making herself easy to approach. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she stops making herself easily accessible to just anyone. She no longer bends, shrinks, or dilutes herself to make others feel comfortable. If someone wants her attention, they must prove they deserve it. The days of her being approachable to every energy-draining, time-wasting, self-serving person are over. She no longer entertains shallow conversations, meaningless social obligations, or people who only seek her out when they need something. The version of her that once tolerated small talk and pretended to care about things that didn't matter, gone. If the connection isn't genuine, intellectually stimulating, or mutually beneficial, she won't entertain it. This shift unsettles people who are used to her easygoing nature. Suddenly, she's changed. She's hard to reach. She's not as friendly. But the truth is, she simply raised her standards. She no longer hands out access like a free sample. People must now earn it. And for those who can't rise to her level, the distance only grows wider. Some will try harder to win back her attention. Others will resent her, but she doesn't care. She's not here to make everyone feel at ease. She's here to grow, evolve, and surround herself with those who match her energy. If someone can't meet her there, they can watch from a distance because she's not coming down. Number 7. She views relationships as optional, not necessary. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she stops treating relationships as necessities. Love, friendships, and social connections are no longer things she chases, craves, or depends on. Instead, they become luxuries, something she indulges in only if they add real value to her life. If they don't, she walks away without hesitation, without guilt, and without looking back. She has no interest in relationships built on obligation, routine, or societal expectations. If a connection isn't fulfilling, intellectually stimulating, or emotionally enriching, she won't force it to exist. She refuses to entertain people just to avoid being alone because to her, solitude isn't loneliness, it's power. This shift confuses those who once had easy access to her. Friends who expected her to tolerate one-sided relationships suddenly find themselves ignored. Lovers who assumed she needed them realize she never did. Family members who relied on guilt to keep her engaged now face an unbothered silence. She has detached, not because she is cold, but because she no longer mistakes attachment for value. Her love is no longer given freely, it is earned. Her friendship is no longer an open invitation, it's exclusive. And if someone fails to bring peace, growth, or meaning to her life, they simply don't belong in it. Relationships, once a priority, now sit at the bottom of her list, only making the cut if they truly deserve a place. Number 8. She no longer feeds weak egos. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she stops entertaining fragile egos. She no longer hands out unearned praise, sugarcoats the truth, or feeds into people's need for constant validation. If someone relies on being pacified, coddled, or endlessly reassured, they'll quickly realize she's not the one to provide it. She has no patience for people who fish for compliments, expect their insecurities to be managed, or crumble at the first sign of honest feedback. If they need someone to stroke their ego, they'll have to find another source, because she's done wasting energy on those who can't handle reality. She sees through the manipulation, the victim mentality, and the constant need for attention. Instead of playing along, she disengages completely. This shift unsettles those who once relied on her emotional generosity. The people who used to turn to her for validation suddenly feel the void of her absence. The ones who thrived on her reassurance now find themselves standing alone in their self-doubt. It's not that she's cruel, it's that she refuses to enable weakness disguised as confidence. She values growth, self-awareness, and authenticity. If someone can't bring that to the table, they won't get her energy. Weak egos suffocate in the presence of a Sigma female who no longer plays the game. And once she's done feeding them, they starve. Number 9. She leaves a void that no one can fill. When a Sigma female decides she's done, she doesn't just leave a space, she leaves a void. The kind that echoes, reverberates, and reminds everyone who remains of the power they lost. At first, people might not even realize the depth of her absence. It's subtle, quiet even. But as time passes, the weight of what's missing becomes undeniable. She wasn't just a participant in their lives. She was the quiet force that kept things in motion, the person who held it all together without asking for recognition or appreciation. Without her, The energy shifts. The balance falters. The routines that once felt effortless now seem disjointed, and what seemed like an ordinary connection now feels hollow. Her absence creates ripples in places people never thought to look. It's like a silent earthquake, a shake that no one notices until everything starts to crumble in the quiet aftermath. The ones who once relied on her strength, stability, and presence start to feel the weight of their own weaknesses. They realize too late that she was the one who made them feel seen, the one who kept the peace, the one who held the space for them to grow. She didn't just fit into their lives, she was the heartbeat of it. And now, there's a space no one can fill. They can try to fill it with distractions, with replacements, with empty noise, but it will never be the same. She was a force they took for granted until it was gone, and the realization that they let her slip away hits harder than any confrontation ever could. By the time they realize what they lost, she's already moved on, building something better, and they're left to reckon with the void she left behind. Number 10. She becomes a silent storm. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she doesn't need to raise her voice or make a scene. She becomes a silent storm. Instead of engaging in the drama, the arguments, or the endless explanations, she withdraws into herself, watching the world around her with quiet observation. She no longer feels the need to explain her actions or justify her decisions. If people don't understand her, it's no longer her problem. If they're offended by her silence, that's their issue to resolve, not hers. The beauty of this transformation lies in the stillness she exudes. She isn't impulsive. She doesn't act out of anger, frustration, or desperation to prove a point. Instead, she stands back, allowing others to reveal who they really are. As people show their true colors, whether it's through actions, words, or lack of integrity, she takes mental notes, quietly assessing the situation. The difference now is that she has no urge to fix things, no need to make peace where it doesn't belong. She has learned the value of letting people expose themselves without interference. She watches with the calm of someone who knows exactly what will happen next, someone who understands that not every battle is worth fighting. When the time comes for her to act, it will be with precision and purpose, no wasted energy, no unnecessary noise. By the time she makes her move, those around her are often blindsided. They never saw it coming because she didn't tip her hand. The storm that hits is calculated, focused, and so precise that it leaves no room for doubt. She doesn't need to argue because her silence does the talking, and when she finally does speak or act, it's always with such impact that nothing is ever the same. When a Sigma female is done playing nice, she doesn't make a scene, she makes a statement. Her silence becomes her power, her detachment becomes her strength, and her actions become so calculated that they leave the world around her in awe. She no longer bends, pleads, or compromises to fit into spaces where she isn't valued. Instead, she redefines her boundaries with clarity, and the people who once took her for granted are left to realize, too late, that she was the force holding it all together. Her work ethic becomes unstoppable. Her relationships are no longer about need, but about mutual value, and she moves through life with a level of focus and self-respect that makes her untouchable. She doesn't waste energy feeding egos, doesn't engage with distractions, and certainly doesn't make herself easy to approach. She rises above, silently observing, knowing when to act with precision and when to remain still, watching people reveal their true selves. The Sigma female doesn't need to be loud, she doesn't need to be angry, she just needs to be herself. And when she is done playing nice, it's because she's finally realized that her energy is far too valuable to be given away to those who will never understand its worth. So, to those who thought they knew her, to those who underestimated her, she's not just walking away, she's walking into her own power, and there's no turning back. If you found this as eye-opening and powerful as we know you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more content that challenges and inspires. Drop a like if you're ready to level up and embrace your true power, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below and let us know how you relate to the Sigma mindset. If you think someone else needs to hear this, make sure to share it with them. Keep pushing forward, keep evolving, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye, and stay blessed.